sharing my time this morning with Christine Hodges, so if you want to make your way down, Christine. The last video was a nice bridge that connects. We have the built environment and the natural environment. And part of the logic behind the destination gardens and landscaping is that our community looks more attractive with flowers, plants, etc. It's also a connection to the many assets we already have.
By the way, those are real pictures from your community.
Yep. Very briefly, these presentations will be up afterwards. I'm not going to read this for you, but I do want to say that there's sort of two different aspects that contribute to the economic development. One is having destinations in our community where people want to visit. There's a lot of hard work going on to a long list. We highlighted a few, but to Don and Johnette Roberts and the Ridgely Gardens, that's one of our privately held lands. It's a phenomenal asset. The Clifton Ford School of the Arts and the Arboretum was one of the first projects funded to develop, and we are really excited. We have Madison Armentrout as our AmeriCorps member in our community. It's the first year we've had AmeriCorps. Tell Senator Kane, keep funding it, please. And that we are really looking to grow that program because it puts more resources on the ground to help restore some of the beautiful assets we have. I know Pat Hartman is here. She's been our group leader for the Helen Childs Wildflower Garden at Fort Young Park in Covington. And many of the young people have volunteered on that project here. It has been a great endeavor with the city of Covington, and we appreciate efforts to try to restore that park. We appreciate the work with the Seed Library. We see opportunities for community gardens. We are looking forward to ongoing work with the college and trying to show how this beautiful campus can also be a destination as an arboretum that showcases our forestry program and ultimately brings people here to do horticultural programs, take classes, and grow an industry that can both sustain our community and help grow our economy. One of the really cool projects that we're going to just highlight this year because of the growth in this endeavor, Christine's going to talk about, and that is the Children's Forest that is part of the U.S. Forest Service land. And when this group formed about 5 years ago, that property was on an effort to decommission the land, and yet in this 12-year Vision 2025 window, they will have the 50th anniversary of all the Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, and many others who came to plant trees in this community. So, Christine, I'm going to let you talk about that for a minute.
Oh, great, thanks. And I'll also just talk about our recent Big Tree workshop that we had there at Dabney, too. That was part of our group, where we had an arborist from Rhoda come in and teach several of our volunteers how to nominate and bring awareness to our large trees, whether they're in our city or even in our counties, public and private lands. Good morning, welcome. I'm Christine Hodges. Just a little bit of personal information. I am from Charlottesville, actually. I'm a transplant. So I grew up just north on a dairy farm. I met my husband in Charlottesville, who was born and raised here in the Alleghany Highlands, and he brought me back to this area. We have 3 young kids. We've settled in this area, and I couldn't picture my life anywhere else. I'm a forestry major from Virginia Tech. I love the great outdoors that we have here, but I would say in our community, probably the thing that makes it special to me is the people that live here and welcome me. So just quickly, just to talk a little bit of background about the Children's Forest, the Eastern Children's Forest. There's only 3 in the United States. Like Mary was saying, this was an area that was, there was a meth lab that had been found in that area. And so with that being said, that takes a lot of money to clean up. Forest Service doesn't have a lot of money, but many of our volunteer groups, our master naturalists, master gardeners, they were very vocal. They advocated that we needed to get this cleaned up. So with the support of the Chamber of Commerce, our U.S. Forest Service, and our volunteers, they were able to find the funding to get that cleaned up. It's been a long time, a long vision, but what we have also done, basically in the 1970s, the Children's Forest, it was set on fire. It was an arson fire where it burned hundreds of acres. And so what they did back then is there was that environmental movement, and so a Hunter Wesson food group provided funding to have 1,000 trees planted in our area. So children from our area planted those trees, and several of our Children that did that in the 70s are still with us today, and they remember that day of going out and that special memories that they created. So after they planted that area, the Forest Service and the school systems, I believe, created a pen pal program to where then they brought students out there to do a little bit of natural resource education. Over the years, that program ended up not continuing until in 2017, we were out there for a Mountain Soil and Water Conservation District field day, and the Forest Service was telling us a little bit about this program. Jacob Wright and I looked at each other and we said, we need to bring this back. So with the support of our county and our city school programs, we were able to initiate and start a new program. We had various meetings. It was not just done overnight. We had various meetings with lots of different groups. I visited all the schools, met with principals, met with our superintendents, our curriculum instructors, the teachers, to figure out how we can do this. And also it came up during a responsive classroom training that the city and the county teachers had been involved in, and they actually had a discussion where they wanted to start a pen pal program. That was mentioned to me in a various meeting, and I said, wow, well, this is a perfect fit for us. We definitely need to move on this. So after that, of course, our biggest challenge was getting the forest cleaned up. We were able to do that. Every year, what happens now is in the spring, we have 4-H teen counselors, master gardeners, master naturalists. We've had Kiwanis, Virginia Tech alumni chapter, that goes out and gets the forest ready for our third grade students to come out. So basically, this has been a successful partnership between 4-H, Extension Master Naturalists and Master Gardeners, the U.S. Forest Service, Covington Women's Club, Alleghany and Covington Public Schools. We could not do this without them. The Vision 2025 Working Gardens Group, our Alleghany Highlands Chamber of Commerce, Dalvett State Park, the Boiling Springs Fire and Rescue Department, Alleghany County Government, and a new supporter we're having on board is West Rock. So what we do is, in 2018 and 2019, what we do at the beginning of the year is that our third grade teachers will coordinate pen pals. And so they will link students up from different schools, and they will have a pen pal partner, and they write letters and read letters back and forth to each other throughout the year. Generally, because of the size of our classrooms, Callahan and Sharon are our two that are pen pals together, and then we have Covington and Mountain View Elementary are the other two pen pal programs. And so they come out in May, they will meet their pen pals, they will do some programs with them, they get to meet them, get to have a little bit of games, and then they will go through several different stations that we have set up with them that are led by our master gardeners, our master naturalists, U.S. Forest Service, Dalvett State Park has provided personnel. They go through those stations and they learn about our natural resources. They learn about the history of the children's forest, and all of these correlate with, of course, our SOLs. The other good thing about this is that we have a lot of students that don't know where the children's forest. We have a lot of adults that don't know where the children's forest. It is located on Route 18 out towards Potts Creek, out towards Ben's Run. And so it has been a great program. We hope to continue this program. We have a group of about 160 students coming out this Friday with Covington and Mountain View Elementary. We have had to reschedule programs. As y'all know, it is very challenging to work with school schedules, especially around this time. So I really appreciate that they value this program enough to make it happen. The students learn a lot. I have third graders from last year that are now fourth grade that when I come into the schools and I talk about it, they remember who their pen pal was. They remember details about them, and it's also learning social skills with these kids and the passion of our outdoors in our region. So I really appreciate the time that you've given me this morning. And just real quick, I forgot to mention I am a 4-H Positive Youth Development Extension Agent. So with Virginia Cooperative Extension, we're here in our local communities. We're on Covington Main Street. And we basically bring, with the support of Virginia Tech, Virginia State University, our local governments, we bring research-based information to our communities to try to improve and make them better and improve the quality of life.
Thank you, Christine, and thank you for illustrating the planning, the coordination, the volunteers, and most of all, the many, many partners it takes to pull together to make this change. That list was sort of indicative of our other projects, and I think it's pretty amazing. We need more volunteers. We need people who want to teach, perhaps at the college, to begin some of these experimental horticultural classes. We do want people to come, make it a destination vacation, and long-term, we have to build some more bigger project assets. But for now, I think it's been great. I want to thank all of you who I recognize in the room. We've had over 50 different individuals come out multiple times for different projects. And I think that's not even counting all those who've been the last 2 years for this project. So very excited and still got challenges ahead, but let me know if you have any interest in being involved. Thank you.